This video is a how-to on writing a legal analysis memorandum. Before we get into editing the template, you first need to understand the purpose of this type of document. The purpose of this type of memorandum is to get educated on how the law will impact your case once you are in court. You achieve this understanding of a legal issue or issues involved in your case with the facts of your case and how the law decides who wins and what they win based on the facts of your case. A memorandum of law is a written explanation on how the law works with the facts of your case so that you can guess the possible outcomes of your case accurately. This also helps you understand what facts and evidence the court will need to make that decision you want the court to make. Now open the template provided on the web page. Your template should look something like this, where you are able to click on it to edit the Word document. The first step you are going to do is erase the contents in the bracket in the header. This section right here is the header of the memorandum. The information that should be provided in the header is who the memorandum is to, your name, the subject matter of this memorandum, and the date. Once you have completed the information to apply in the header section, you will next move on to Statement of Assignment. For this section, you're going to want to erase anything in the brackets and insert what you have been asked to do and why. For example, this could be for an upcoming court appearance, upcoming hearing for yourself, or a client seeking legal opinion. This area should include the question presented and should be sufficient enough to narrow down the statement of assignment and be objective. We'll want to move on to the issue section. You're going to want to start off again by erasing everything in the brackets below and inserting the legal question or issues that are being considered in the memorandum. For formatting purposes, each legal question should have its own subheading to separate factors from case and rulings. Ultimately, for each issue or sub-issue, you should conclude as to how you think the court would likely rule on the facts. This will help when deciding the likelihood of courts ruling in favor of your desire. The only part you need to accomplish in this issue section is asking the question. The answering and analyzing is done further in the document. Once you have finished filling out the contents below the issue section, you will next want to move on to the brief answer section of the memorandum. You will first start by erasing anything in the brackets below brief answer and insert your brief answer to the question that was presented in the issue section. This should clearly and fully respond to the question being presented. Begin with your conclusion as it may be answered yes, no, probably, yes, etc. if this question can be answered that way. Then give a brief, no more than 5-sentence long summary explanation of the reasons for your conclusion. Summarize for the reader how the relevant law applies with the significant facts. After you have completed the brief answer section, you will next move on to the analysis section of the memorandum. First, you are going to want to delete anything in the brackets below as shown in the highlighted text of the video. This section can be quite lengthy, which is why you want to have subheadings for each issue as to not confuse any case rulings. This section should include a formal and objective description of significant legal facts that are relevant to answering legal problems. This analysis may include if legal facts are favorable or unfavorable for the case in question. Add specific details from cases to compare to prior rulings of case. It is helpful in this analysis section to identify any trends in case law. At this time, you are going to want to address any arguments on both sides of an issue. Anticipate what positions and counterarguments might be advanced by the opposing side. Information on how to complete a legal analysis. Be sure to check the How to Do Iraq Analysis page in Module 1 of the Community Law Training course. Next, you will want to erase any information in brackets below the recommendation and discussion section. Erase the contents in the bracket and insert your recommendation. This is the time where you discuss applicable legal rulings and how or why the principles are relevant to the case. You should be comparing the facts and reasonings of the case to your client's situation or your situation, for example. This should lastly include your recommendation of how to proceed using prior case rulings for the client's case. Please state why you recommend this with the facts that led you to this recommendation. For the last step in completing this template, you will need to move on to the conclusion section. Start by erasing anything in the brackets below and inserting your conclusion based on the analysis done above. You want to include an abbreviated statement of that which you analyze in detail the discussion above. Do not include new information in this section. If you stumble upon a case that is applicable to this memorandum, include it in your analysis section below. You don't want to include new information as you're in the conclusion area of this memorandum. The conclusion should briefly inform the reader of the law that applies and how it applies. After you have completed this template provided with instructions, check that the document is in the same format and layout as shown in the original template provided. All these titles should be centered just like they previously were from the template provided. The white space in between the sections is needed to make the document easier to read. As mentioned before, it can be lengthy. Once you are done, remember that this document stays with you or between you and your lawyer. Hopefully this how-to video provided much guidance for completing this document and the template provided on the webpage